right now we already have some kind of product that allow users to trade tokens directly on chain. So we don't need to list tokens anymore as an exchange. Like we just let people buy them and then we just do the transaction for them on chain.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Horizon series by Being Crypto, where we dive into the ideas, people, and tech shaping the future of finance and beyond. I'm Genesis Hernandez, marketing lead at Being Crypto, and I'm really excited about today's guest. Joining us, we have Federico Variola. He's the CEO of Phemex. This is one of the fastest growing crypto exchanges out there. They are serving around 5 million users in over 200 countries. But beyond those numbers, Federico brings in this conversation a thoughtful perspective on where crypto is heading and what decentralization really means in practice. Thank you so much for joining the Horizon series by Being Crypto. I'm your host, I'm Genesis Hernandez, and today's conversation, it's one that I've been really looking forward to. I'm here with Federico Variola. He's the CEO of Phemex. So please, Federico, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Federico. I'm the CEO from Phemex. I've been part of the founding team since 2019. For the past 2 years and a half. We are a centralized exchange looking into moving more and more of our operations on chain. So currently kind of like we are developing a hybrid setup, let's say, for our exchange's future. So yeah, I'm looking forward to go to this conversation.
Thank you so much for the space and also for your time. So what I always start is like I really want to know like how you started in space, like how you started to work in Web3 or crypto. Can you tell us more about your background? Is it more financial or is more like people B2C? There's something entirely that really care. I mean, you care about the ecosystem.
Yeah. So when I was doing my PhD in international politics with a thesis in cybersecurity, I came across crypto as a topic. So I think at the time when I started my PhD, I think it was during the first crypto bubble, like in 2017, around that time. And I thought the topic was interesting, but it felt like the market was very frothy at the time. So like everyone was talking like every day about cryptocurrency, what it was, all these kind of things. So then I didn't think too much of it once, let's say, the market crashed and everything. But a few months after the market crashed, like I started once like the markets were a bit more quiet, I got more time to read into it. And I thought like, okay, there is something here on the level of technology and also the culture and the financial aspects of it. So I had met previously some people that went to work into crypto exchanges. So when we thought the time was right, that I was finishing my PhD, I was like writing my thesis, had more time to dedicate to business. They also wanted to start like a crypto exchange. They had built experience on another crypto exchange. So we thought like we knew kind of like how the business worked. Also at the time, this was summer of 2019. Crypto exchanges were very simple back then. Like we had like 4 trading pairs and that was it. Like so it was very easy to start like from zero, like a crypto exchange. Keep in mind, like for example, Bybit, they had like 3 perpetual trading pairs. So the competition wasn't as strong as it is today, maybe. So we were able to like get things set up very quickly, just in just a few months, like the exchange was up and running. And we were very lucky because basically we launched in 2019, towards the end of 2019. Then there was the COVID crash. So the market seemed like desperate. Like we were able, by launching like slightly before the crash, we were able to catch the whole bull market. Like we launched, I think, in a very good, with very good timing, let's say.
Dude, so now that you're talking about like how exchanges started, so I mean, yeah, I've been trading like now I'm in the space like maybe 5 or this is my 6 years. So it's like I think that they evolved for like from simple trading into platforms that also offer like saving accounts, copy trading, prediction markets, and so. And like, so do you think like we're watching like the birth of a new kind of financial institution, or like there's something that both exchanges and economic playground? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I honestly believe that centralized exchanges are kind of underrated, even in crypto, in the sense that they have become like among the most complex financial products you can use, like across every market. Like if you compare the amount of products that any random centralized exchanges like Binance, Bybit, Phemex, like they offer compared to your banking app, like you'd be shocked by how many things are going on in a crypto exchange compared to like established apps and like, I don't know, Revolut or like these kind of like eToro or Robinhood. I think crypto exchanges are far ahead when it comes to how flexible we have been and the kind of products we have to deliver continuously, because the crypto ecosystem is also evolving very quickly, right? So there is like new blockchains, there is new token launching every day. There is new products. Perpetual futures are a native crypto instrument. People forget about it because we are so used to it, right? But that doesn't exist in other markets. Like perpetual futures was not a thing before BitMEX came along. So I think right now centralized exchanges will still play like a key role. What I think is going to be important for centralized exchanges is to be more flexible when it comes to engaging with the on-chain economy. So I think right now the on-chain economy is very mature, incredibly more developed than when we started in 2020. So back then, like talking about a DEX was kind of like a fantasy, like it wasn't realistic, like we didn't have the chains were not fast enough. Ethereum at the time hadn't really developed a layer 2 roadmap. So there was all these hurdles, right? But now we are in a point in which, okay, the on-chain economy is just as big as the centralized exchanges economy. So centralized exchanges need to adapt and offer on-chain products, because right now the tokens will, the good tokens, they will be born on-chain, right? You want to be on-chain. You don't want to buy a token when it's listed on Binance. That's a bit too late. You know what I mean? So I think right now we are at the point in which centralized exchanges will become more decentralized. Basically, that's, I think, is how things are developing.
Definitely. And thanks for bringing that word, like the idea of decentralization that gets through, I mean, a lot around. And like, I wanted to ask you, like, why is it important? You know, like sometimes in being crypto, like I ask like this question to founders. It's like, can you describe decentralization in one word? But like, you can tell me that in one word, and also what does it really mean to you?
I mean, to me, decentralization is security. Like the more a protocol is decentralized or a blockchain is decentralized, the safer I feel using it, because I know that the burden of security is distributed among a large amount of players. So I think blockchains such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, they carry the burden of keeping decentralization as a core tenet of their project, right? Nevertheless, I think other blockchains can still thrive without being too decentralized. I think we have seen Solana developing from like highly centralized to now more decentralized. We have seen more centralized blockchains, a little bit like Hyperliquid now, they're still being very successful. Nevertheless, I think some projects need to carry the ideological burden of keeping decentralization as a core tenet. So I think for Bitcoin, Ethereum, for these large entities, it's good that they focus on decentralization, even if they suffer a little bit maybe on the business side. So I think it's important that we have these projects, and I think there should be more support industry-wide on the role that these Bitcoin and Ethereum play, even though they're not in terms of like speed or user experience the best we have. But I think the whole industry should support this project because they take some of the core crypto tenet very much at heart. And I think we should do that as an industry.
Nice. And like also talking about exchanges and like technology, sometimes like there's this saying about like crypto is about like banking the unbanked, or maybe it's like unbanking the bank, right? So thinking about like I mean Phemex or like all the users that you guys serve, like where do you think crypto adoption feels more urgent, like more real? Thinking about decentralization, also centralization, but like how we can combine these powers into like countries that are really in need. Where do you see that?
Yeah, I think for sure Bitcoin adoption is one of the most important aspect of even our exchange's mission. Let's say, like, we want people to understand this instrument, understand the technology, read the white paper, and allocate some of their hedging funds or whatever to Bitcoin, because I think it's important. I think it's the best asset that came out of crypto. At the same time, I think crypto is kind of, in a way, forcing people to learn about financial concepts such as fully diluted valuation, market cap, going long, going short, like all these kind of things. What does it mean buying something spot versus a derivative, right? These kind of things, people don't interact with them so often in traditional markets, right? Like not many people do like trade. And even when you trade on like an app like Robinhood or eToro, maybe you don't know what's under the hood in terms of the product you're trading, right? But I think crypto is more transparent in that regard, and it offers a great kind of course in learning all these financial terms and concepts that are not really something we interact every day unless you work in finance. And also, I think stable coins have been probably unintentionally one of the biggest driver of adoption for cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and so on, because it's such a simple technology, yet it helps so many people around the world. Like we see countries that are affected by high inflation, and maybe they don't want necessarily to invest in a volatile asset such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, but they can hold US dollars, which have their like the dollar has its own stability. Maybe like inflation in the US is also a problem, but much slower than, I don't know, in Turkey or South America in some countries. So I think stablecoins have been kind of an intentional winner of this crypto industry, and I think they have helped a lot of people when it comes to diversifying their finance from their local currencies to an international currency such as the US dollar.
Also, I mean, when we're talking about crypto, it comes to my mind like also cryptocurrency exchanges. I think about like all the legal, I mean, all the institutions that want to be close to crypto right now. Thinking about government, I mean, the government, banks, and like big players. So I think like this space is evolving a lot. And do you think like, I mean, also like since that these big players are also trying to enter to the picture, do you think that crypto can survive this institutional adoption, or what's your take on that, or how you guys are working with that as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in terms of let's say structure, I think we are able to with all the institutional and mainstream adoption. I think right now there is so many chains, layer twos, some highly performing chains such as Solana. They can onboard a significant amount of retail users. I think the Trump token launch is kind of like an indicator whether we could handle this kind of like a fear of missing out on such a big like occasion. So I think we passed that test. On the other hand, I feel like like we have to think like if our industry like can survive institutions pulling away from crypto. I'm not that concerned about institution adopting cryptocurrencies, whether like I think the technology can handle, but I think if a bear market comes, we will see a lot of these institutions or promises or projects basically being shelved, being redacted, all these kind of things. So I think as we've seen maybe in the last bull run that we see, okay, Tesla is allowing Bitcoin, right? Or like we've seen, okay, all these brands are getting into NFTs, right? And then when the bear market comes, like it all disappear, right? Like you cannot buy Teslas with Bitcoin anymore. Elon is not shilling Doge anymore. Like all these brands are not into NFTs anymore. Like no one is talking about it. So you're like, okay, will our industry survive when these people are like not here anymore? So that's gonna be a real challenge for crypto. And I think we have survived, yes. But I think we always have to be mindful that a lot of these institutions coming in, they're not coming in for ideological reasons, more because like it's a trend or it's like fashionable, or there is some quick money to be made. So we have to be careful about who we entangle with.
Yeah, I like that you bring this to the table. Like this space is shifting a lot. Like I remember, well, I think like my first coin was Dogecoin. Like I was between like Cardano and Doge. This is not a financial advice, but like yeah, because like you said like Elon Musk was chilling on Doge, and now like he's not. And now like I mean we live like in a space that we're also sharing a lot of news, meme coins, and like there is a boom of meme coins. Before it was NFTs or all the layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 is what exists. I don't know. So my question, like giving you all this brief information, is like what excites you the most about like Web3? Like what do you hope to see in the 5 or 10 years from now?
It's a very good question. Like the thing I think I would like to see the most is complete Bitcoin adoption. I think Bitcoin is still like our best bet to basically make this industry like a stable for the financial future of the world. So I think Bitcoin being completely like fully adopted, and I think I would be happy to see Ethereum succeed more than it has been in the past few couple of years. I'm not particularly like engaged with Ethereum. Like I don't hold Ethereum or anything. It's just that I feel like it means a lot for the industry in terms of like ideology and culture. And I think like because of some recent mismanagement and priorities being more on the business side when it comes to crypto, I think Ethereum has kind of underperformed, right? Many people are unhappy with the price action, with the direction of the Ethereum Foundation, all these kind of things. So I hope Ethereum can find a more clear path forward, becoming a bit more competitive, and continuing the like decentralization mission that they have been pursuing so far.
What do you think that we need more of? Because I see like, okay, there are like a lot of companies joining like or adding blockchain systems to their, I mean, adding a blockchain system, but still, I see like, yeah, we're shifting like into something like, I mean, still like, it's still really complicated unless you see like big players, like for example, something that you mentioned, is, okay, suddenly Trump has a meme coin and oh, this immediately, a lot of people say, hey, we're gonna buy this coin, let's see what happens. Alania too, like all these exchanges they crashed because a lot of people wanted to try something new. So my take is like what we're lacking of, so like we can get more adopters, like UX or maybe smarter regulation, a stronger culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the more than what we need more of, I think what we need less of. I think we need less tokens, for example.
Yeah.
I think we have been inflating the amount of tokens narrative a little bit too much. I think as an industry we should elect some winners and stop trying to bet on the next horse like continuously. Like I think we launched too many tokens as an industry, and this is from someone that like our platform, it has a token, right? So in a way I am contributing to the problem, but what concerns me is that thousands of tokens being launched without any kind of product market fit or revenue or like any sort of tokenomics that makes sense, right? So I think we have seen like how the meme coin narrative has died out due to, I would say, excessive dilution, right? I think Pump the Fund was a cool like instrument to get more people into this kind of like hyper financialization of trends and memes and like internet trends and all these kind of things. Nevertheless, I think like when you have like millions of tokens launching in a year, of course you cannot have Shiba or Doge again. Like that cannot happen, right? Like because people will always jump to the next ship, right? So I think unfortunately we will not see like the meme coin super cycle that really like engages retail traders. Like when Dogecoin went to like 70 cents, I think that was like when you have peak retail mania, right? But as long as we have thousands of meme coins all around like the 200 million, 1 billion like market cap, I don't think we'll see something going like 40 billion like shit. That just cannot happen.
Yeah, but the reason why you also add like more tokens into the platform is because you listen to your audience, and this well could be like my last question. It's related to your community and how this community is helping Phemex to move forward. So it's like, is there like I mean, what's the future of crypto? What's the future of I mean, with your platform? But like, how you guys are moving forward with the community too? How do you think they help you?
Yeah, I think like centralized exchanges communities are a bit different than tokens in the sense that tokens community, they have obvious financial incentives, right? At the same time, they tend to be a little bit more emotional, panicky about the price action. Like I think the community of a centralized exchange, as long as the exchange runs well, I think they're fine with basically supporting the exchange, right? It's not like they will ask every day, like, what's happening to the price? What are you guys building? Like all these kind of things. So I think for centralized exchange, it's a bit easier in that regard, in the sense the community is a bit more patient. Like they will not panic during the bear market if they see no developments or whatever. On the other hand, like it's very difficult now for centralized exchanges, I think, to differentiate from one another, right? I think right now we all offer pretty much the same products, right? Like Bybit, Binance, like basically we all offer the same things, right? So when you want someone to stick to your exchange, you have to kind of like work on a bit of intangibles qualities such as customer support, avoiding downtimes for the exchange, the speediness of like withdrawals, deposits, all these kind of things, which are a little bit like more fine-tuning things more than launching like a big new product or a big new listing, because right now that everyone does that at the same time, so it's not much of a marketing differentiation.
Nice. Well, I feel like this was such a thoughtful conversation. I really appreciate how we could talk about decentralization, to markets, communities, and like what is happening right now. I think like what blockchain is lacking of, or maybe what we don't need anymore. I think like this is really insightful. Before finishing, please can you share a little bit of what's coming for Phemex, a medium, where to follow you?
Yes. So, in terms of our products, I think we want to move more and more on chain. I think we have seen great products coming in the past few years, such as Jupiter, Hyperliquid, that they have basically established like a roadmap on how to succeed on chain. So I think we can leverage our current user base, market cap, all these kind of things in order to achieve more by learning from these successful products. So that's going to be the direction of the exchange in the future, which means more product on chain. Right now, we already have some kind of product that allow users to trade tokens directly on chain. So we don't need to list tokens anymore as an exchange. Like we just let people buy them and then we just do the transaction for them on chain. So I think that's going to be the future for most centralized exchanges, because right now the volume of centralized exchange versus DEX is like kind of dropping down. So I think centralized exchanges will become more and more some kind of broker for the on-chain activity. People don't want to manage, like not everyone wants to manage 10 wallets, right? You don't want to manage a wallet for Solana, one for Ethereum, one for Avalanche, but you want like a place where you can buy all the tokens without much of a hassle. And I think centralized exchanges will continue doing that. At the same time, we're also preparing for new regulations that are entering in our markets. So we have MiCA in the European Union. And I think the United States are also opening a little bit to potentially allowing exchanges for perpetual futures. We have seen Coinbase announcing that. So I think that will be also the next step for our industry. So allowing finally these markets to be onboarded into the on-chain economy. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And where can we see Phemex? Like, are you guys planning to be in any event during this year? Or can you share the socials?
Yes, we will be in Token 2049 in Singapore and Korean Blockchain Week. I think these are the next big events we're planning. So we'll have a booth at the events and a side event, these kind of things. My socials are Federico0x on Twitter or X. Or Phemex official on X. So yeah, any questions I'll be happy to answer. I check my DMs pretty often. So any suggestions for the exchange or questions, I'll be happy to follow up on.
Thank you, Federico, for the interview. And that's it for today's episode of the Horizon series by Being Crypto. A big thank you to Federico Variola for joining us and sharing his thoughts about decentralization, the future of crypto exchanges, and what the industry really needs to grow or what they don't need as well. If you really like this episode, please don't forget to follow us on YouTube. Also, we're sharing this in our platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course, X. Please don't also forget to sign up to our newsletter, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.